this Friday, December 2nd, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Rami, bro, who are we going live with?
We're going live with Sonny Faz and his mom.
And his mom?
Yes, and his mom.
They're about to confront us about the biggest Muslim stereotypes, Islamic stereotypes, things they've been taught. They're going to ask us about clarification. They're going to ask us about why we believe about what we believe. We're going to ask them about why they believe about what they believe. Put that on your calendar this Friday, December 2nd at 6 p.m. EST, 11 p.m. UK time. It's a live stream, not pre-recorded. You can ask your questions, do your thing, inshallah. Make sure you guys come and tune in.
Or your cover. Give me your overview of what you said about what's going on.
My overview was very simple. My overview was, if rainbow flags were the fashion of English people and we wore them all the time, I'm sure Qatar would let us in with the T-shirts. If nobody ever wears them in history and you show up at the arena with one, you are intentionally trying to provoke a culture into telling you to go home and change your T-shirts. You can paint them as the bad guy. And I believe that they should skulls. That was the gist of what I said.
Imagine being a generic football fan, just a guy who likes football. Yeah, just bring it in.
Come in.
Imagine being a generic football fan, just a guy who likes football. You don't give a shit about any of these political statements, any of this garbage. And now all of a sudden you're, by just watching the football games and supporting football, you're on the side of mass. I don't even know what you are. What are they doing? Mass degeneracy? Like, it's insanity. Can't you just like football now?
Or can't you just, have sex with who you want in your house without having to show everyone in the World Cup?
Bro, you're lucky I'm not Mr. Producer, because I saw some English TV show. There was an English TV show. Thanks. There's an English TV show. Just leave it, bro. Thanks. There was an English TV show, and it's one of these guys. He's one of them football pundits. I don't know. And it was BBC Two or something. And there's a full 3-minute singing and dancing, just saying how important it is to have rainbow armbands. Why? I don't get it. Why can't people just play football? Why do they have to mix in this agenda with everything?
Yeah,
it's like the West has no culture besides that. It's like,
ooh, bro, listen, I gotta pause that. There's still like half the video left. But listen, shout out to one of my boys, Halal Moaz. I saw a TikTok from him, I think just yesterday or today, earlier. And he was saying, we're not saying we can't, you can't do what you want to do behind closed doors, whatever you want in your hotel room. You're here in Qatar for the World Cup, whatever. Why do you got to come into the public sphere in public and try to directly go against and disrespect our culture as Muslims, our tradition as Muslims, our values as followers of Islam? Why? Do you think we're going to stand by that? So there's a difference. It's not a matter of we can't say, we're not saying what you can or can't do behind closed doors and all that. We advise you not to, right? We stand against it. Well, what are we going to do if it's behind closed doors, bro? Think about it. But
yeah,
100%. Out in public, bro, running around with these things, and before we resume it, bro, please go in.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I want to give a personal example, because that for some reason when you phrase it like that, the way you did, the way Andrew Tate did, people just don't want to understand it, and it's really stupid. So let's put it in a very easy to understand way. Imagine you invited a friend over to your house to watch the World Cup or whatever, and you told them, listen, I have a very strict religious practice. We don't eat pork, so do not bring pork to my house. I know you're bringing food. Do not let it be pork. They understand what you said, right? You know that they know 100% you do not eat pork. They should not bring pork. And then they bring pork to your house. And they say, listen, bro, it's a free country. You told me not to. Are you going to ever let that person back in your house? Are you going to consider them a friend? Are you going to consider them someone who's respectful of you and your beliefs and practices? No, you would not. So how come when these white people, frankly, they're all just white people, come to our lands and our countries, this time not to steal oil and kill people, to wear something they know very clearly we do not allow to be exacerbated publicly? They only have one intention, and that's the disrespect.
The problem with these kuffar, with these munafiq, with these enemies of Islam, bro, is they realize that in a weird, time where everyone's trying to paint Islam a certain way, we're hosting the World Cup, bro. Yeah. We're hosting, I would even argue, the best World Cup thus far, with so much hype. And they can't have that, bro. They're trying to slander it in any way possible.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, let's continue.
We'll get back to the video, inshallah.
The last piece of culture, the pride flag. And I don't give a shit if people are gay. I don't care. You can be as gay as you want. But why do you have to not? Why did you go to another country and make sure that they understand how important it is that you believe that that's an important thing?
Well, interestingly enough, Andrew, in the argument of love is love and we should celebrate and make legal all types of love, if you are from Qatar and you are a Muslim and you live in England, you cannot legally marry 3 or 4 women. Polygamy is against the law in England. So if we were to hold the World Cup in England, could the Qatari players have their pro-polygamy, pro-multi-wife armbands on? But I don't think they would.
I don't think they would.
No, because they don't want to push their culture on other people. They're just happy being who they are. And I think that that's what every culture should do.
Yeah, because it's absolutely not arrogant to believe that your worldviews are somehow shared by every other nation on earth. It's actually amazing that the West pretends to be moral and has any kind of moral high ground. If you look at the track records of the West, whether it's starting wars or look at some of the ideas the Matrix is purporting now.
I did say this yesterday.
Yeah, there's Matrix. I mean, the ideas that the Matrix is purporting now among
Just a real quick friendly message from your host right here to the Haram police. We do not condone smoking cigars or smoking of any kind whatsoever. And we are not endorsing it by not blurring this out. Thank you very much.
the populations of the West are absolutely and utterly degenerate. They're not moral. You're going to sit there and say that, you know, it's okay to chop people's dicks off at the age of 8 and 9, and that's somehow good. And then you want to talk to others about morality. There's absolutely nothing moral about the West. The West is disgusting in many various forms. For them to sit there and pretend that they know so much more than other countries is absolutely and utterly disrespectful. By most metrics, Qatar as a country outperforms nearly every Western country.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's safer. They have families, lower divorce rate. They're doing something right. So for us to come along and say, no, they're doing everything wrong, they have to believe the way we think, is absolutely not arrogant.
See, you can't win with these kuffar as well. Because when you say they have lower divorce rate, they're like, oh, they're women, just shut up. And they're like, oh, okay. But then you find a woman that's like happily like promoting, you know, family values and Islam and all this. Oh, she's internalized misogyny. She's brainwashed. There's no way to win with them, bro.
Yeah, they'll put it back on another stereotype. Always they'll put it back on another stereotype. And again, like you said, there's no winning with these people. But what does win is logic and facts and rationality and you know, sound arguments. Islamically, we don't differentiate between a gay person and a straight person, believe it or not. We don't. You know who does differentiate between gay and straight people?
The West.
The West. They're the ones who are like, you're gay, you're straight. Be proud, by the way, that you're gay, you're straight. Okay, anyways, you're this, you're that, you're trans, you're Q, you're I, you're Z, you're using they're about to freaking bring more letters of the alphabet because they're running out at this point. Astaghfirullah. And they make it the entire point of their personality. They make it the point of the personality. They make it who they are, what they are, and you cannot distinguish, you know, one person from another except if they're gay, they're straight, or whatever, you know, or if they're black or they're white or whatever. So these very arbitrary things are exactly what the West is pushing. In Qatar, if you are gay, you will not, you know, socially be labeled with this thing of, oh, this person is homosexual, this person is heterosexual. They don't talk about it. They don't care because they are not publicly indecent enough to display it publicly. You know, that what, like you were mentioning, what goes on behind closed doors, whatever. The Sharia doesn't operate there. You're not going to have CCTV in your room or police officers, you know, looking into your room. It's even haram to spy on people. Imagine that. Imagine. For a crime like that, like adultery or homosexuality, to be punished, you need witnesses. You need at least 4 male witnesses who are pious and so on and so forth that can argue the same exact story. And at the same time, it's haram to spy on people. So how are they even going to see it? It's like, it's crazy, man. How people.
No, I get it, bro. And we gotta be smart as Muslims too to see how they manipulate the masses, bro. How they brainwash, because they're gonna say things and take things out of context. Like, oh, if 2 gay guys do X in public, then Sharia law says this, bro. If a man and a woman does X in public, Sharia law can still do that, because it's not about guy and girl or guy and guy in every single punishment, but sometimes the crime is doing something in public. But then they'll take it. I don't know, and this is not us saying we're not going to enjoin good and forbid evil, and we're not against LGBT and all this. But my point is, do you see the way that they take things out of context and they just paint us as, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And it's funny because like they're so clearly hypocritical. BBC, all these news organizations are so clearly hypocritical. Even Piers Morgan is calling them out on their hypocrisy. That the UK and Canada and America and these Western countries, they are doing the most atrocious things. Even like Ukraine supporting Israel against the Palestinian people. Like these things are so clearly hypocritical to everything that they've been preaching and stand for. And as soon as white people or Christian majority countries or Western propaganda is attacked or pushed against in any way, they go to the human rights, they go to the the love who you love and the believe what you want to believe and all that stuff, fighting for these things so much, but they will not allow it for anybody else. It's crazy how clear they are, in their hypocrisy, but refuse to back down from it. And just I want it to be clear for the people.